The famous Pablo Escobar was a Colombian drug lord whose ruthless ambition, until his death, took his drug cartel to a whole other level. But how did Escobar begin his drug empire? And what were the king of cocaine's day-to-day activities like? Hey guys, welcome back to The Crime Analyst. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. And so now, without further ado, let's begin with today's video. Head of the famous Medellin cartel and the richest criminal in history, Pablo Escobar had around $30 billion to his name by the early 90s, the money gathered through meticulously planned and nefarious, as well as murderous means. And even though the king of cocaine was killed by a Colombian special operations team at the age of 44, Escobar undoubtedly lived one of the fullest, most fascinating, and flush lives of any figure in history. Escobar was born on December 1st in 1949 in the Colombian city of Rio Negro, Antioquia. Escobar came from a modest family. Escobar's father worked as a peasant farmer while his mother was a schoolteacher. He packed a unique ambition to raise himself up from his humble beginnings from an early age. Ambition burned from a very young age in Escobar. He started his life of crime early, such as stealing tombstones and selling phony diplomas, and it was not long before Escobar started stealing cars, then moving into smuggling. He expressed his determination to be a millionaire by the age of 22. Escobar's early recognition came during the Marlboro Wars, in which he played a high-profile role in controlling Colombia's smuggled cigarette market. This proved to be a valuable training base for the future narcotics kingpin. In the early 70s, Pablo Escobar worked as a thief and bodyguard. Escobar also allegedly kidnapped and ransomed a Medellin executive for almost $100,000. Compared to Pablo Escobar's later earnings, this would be a majorly small change. It was not by chance that Colombia came to dominate the cocaine trade. In the beginning, in the early 1970s, the country became a prime smuggling ground for marijuana. In 1975, Pablo Escobar started building his cocaine empire. Originally, he would personally fly shipments between Colombia and Panama to smuggle into the United States. Later, Escobar had a whole fleet of airplanes and helicopters, including a Learjet. But as the cocaine market grew quickly, Colombia's geographical location had proven to be its biggest asset. This was located at the northern tip of South America, right between Peru and Bolivian thriving cocaine cultivation epicenters. The country came to dominate the worldwide cocaine trade with the U.S., the biggest and most prominent drug market, for just a small trip to the north. In 1975, drug trafficker Fabio Restrepo from Medellin in Colombia was murdered. Pablo Escobar's killing, it is believed, came at the orders of Escobar, who instantly seized power and then expanded Restrepo's operation into something the world had never seen. Then, Pablo Escobar moved quickly to grab control of the cocaine trade. Under Pablo Escobar's leadership, large amounts of coca paste were purchased in Peru and Bolivia, processed, and then transported to the United States. Escobar even worked with a small group to form the infamous Medellin cartel. Every day, the Medellin cartel smuggled almost 15 tons of cocaine into the United States, worth $60 million. That's $1.8 billion a month, or around $22 billion a year, with $4,000 a month of the takings being spent on rubber bands to keep their money together. Then, by the mid-1980s, Pablo Escobar had an estimated net worth of $30 billion and was named one of Forbes' 10 wealthiest people on Earth. Cash was so prevalent that Pablo Escobar bought a Learjet for the sole purpose of flying out his money. At the time, he controlled more than 80% of the cocaine smuggled into the United States. More than 15 tons were reportedly smuggled each day, netting the Medellin cartel as much as $420 million each week. As his fortune and fame grew, he dreamed of being seen as a leader. In many ways, Escobar positioned himself as a Robin Hood-like figure, which many locals echoed as Escobar spent money to expand social programs for the poor. Pablo Escobar told his friends and family that he wanted to become president of Colombia as a young man. Yet, as Pablo saw it, his path to riches and legitimacy lay in crime. Later on, in 1982, Escobar was elected as an alternate member of Colombia's Congress. However, the reasons for his wealth could not stay hidden, and 2 years after his election, he was forced to resign. The justice minister who revealed his notorious background was later slain. Pablo Escobar fell in love with his wife, Maria Victoria Henao, in 1974. At the time, Escobar was 25, while Maria was just 13. They married after only 2 years and remained together until Escobar's death, and had a son and daughter, Sebastian Marroquin and Manuela Escobar. Escobar was so devoted to the safety of his children that when he was on the run from the authorities and his daughter Manuela began suffering from a disease called hypothermia, the drug lord burned more than $2 million to keep her warm. Escobar was known to live by the ethos plata o plomo, or silver or lead, which referred to the cartel leader's choice to those who opposed him. Escobar asked them to either take a bribe and be paid off in silver or face the bullets in lead. Pablo Escobar was responsible for 80% of the cocaine smuggled into the United States. Then in the 80s, 4 in 5 people snorting a line were snorting an Escobar line. He single-handedly kept Wall Street trading. How much do 15 tons of cocaine daily get you? A lot. During this halcyon period, the cartel made $60 million per day. And they say crime doesn't pay. Escobar had many different nicknames throughout his life. Many referred to him as Don Pablo. However, other monikers ranged from El Padrino, the Godfather, El Patron, or the Boss, and El Señor, the Lord, to El Magico, the Magician, El Zar de la Cocaína, the Tsar of Cocaine, and El Pablito, or Little Pablo. Escobar bought his way into the Colombian Congress using his vast fortune, which granted him instant judicial immunity. This position also entitled him to a diplomatic visa, allowing the notorious drug lord to travel to Miami, where he bought several mansions. Escobar reportedly owned 5,000 acres of land in the small Colombian town of Puerto Triunfo. The mansion was built as a holiday getaway, which included a bull ring, a pool, and a zoo housing hippos, giraffes, and elephants. Amidst the threat of extradition, Pablo Escobar made a deal with the Colombian government to serve at least 5 years in his native country. But the drug lord not only got to choose his own guards, but also designed and built his very own personal prison. The result? La Catedral, which included a football field, jacuzzi bar, and waterfall on its premises. In total, Pablo Escobar is responsible for approximately 4,000 deaths, including a Colombian presidential candidate. When Escobar realized that he had no shot of becoming Colombia's president, and with the United States pushing for his capture and extradition, Pablo Escobar unleashed his fury on his enemies to influence Colombian politics. The drug lord's goal was a no extradition clause and amnesty for drug barons in exchange for giving up the trade. There is no doubt that Pablo Escobar was a hero to the poor of Medellin. He built many parks, hospitals, schools, churches, and sports stadiums, and frequently distributed money to the poor. The drug lord even provided housing to local communities to ensure nobody went homeless. To this day, many see Escobar as a Colombian Robin Hood. What are your thoughts on Escobar? The biggest criminal to ever exist, or a hero? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below what you think about today's video. If you liked this video and found it informative, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you do not want to miss out on any new future videos like these, then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you in the next video.